welcome to the workshop. So today we're going to do a little bit of a tutorial on NC Studio. It appears that I'm one of the only people in the world that's doing tutorial videos on NC Studio, and I'm getting a lot of questions, and one of the main questions is how do you restart NC Studio at a particular point in a program if you're an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours into a job and the lights go out, for example. Well, I'm going to show you how to do that, how to regain where you left off or where the power went off. But you sort of got to keep an eye on it and sort of have a rough idea where you are in the program. And it's always a good idea to start, even if it's 100 or 200 lines back in the code. You sort of judge where you are. It's better to lose like 5 minutes of work time than lose 5 hours. Okay, so we'll make a start. Okay, so I got you here looking at the screen and the keyboard because there's a couple of little things I'd like to show you that I've also had questions on, and that is how to zoom in and out of the viewing window here. Well, it's quite simple. Well, I say quite simple. First of all, you've got to activate this. If you notice, this is a lighter shade. It's sort of a grey colour, and this is a dark blue colour. Well, at the moment, this is telling me that, this window or operation area here is active. And if I pressed a key on here, it will operate the CNC router. So this is inactive at the moment because it's a lighter shade. So if you just go over it and click it like that, now this is active and this is not active. So you can press these keys all you want, and actually all that will happen is this picture will change. So first of all, if you press if I can keep my head out the way, numlock minus, it will shrink the screen. Now, if you want the 3D view, or if you've lost the 3D view, and you've got an N view here, that's a right click, and if you go northwest, that gives you a three-dimensional view there. Okay, so I'm just moving around on the screen, but you can also do this by pressing numlock plus or minus, so you can sort of zoom in, zoom out and find out where you are on this. I'm telling you this because it's fairly important, because you will need this to get the correct sort of position. Right, so I just moved it across the screen a bit there, so we'll make this active again now, this area. Now I'm going to do another process now, and that is I am going to zero the machine coordinate. Now, a lot of people said that when I showed this last time that they didn't actually see what I did to get the window up then. So I'll just pull the window up. So what you do, you come up here to operation and come all the way down here to move to reference point. Now open that, and then this dialog box comes up. You can then ask NC Studio to register the machine home in either axes individual or all of the axes together. So I'll just zoom out a bit so you can see the machine, and we will zero the machine coordinate or axes. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to do all of them. So it'll do the X first, then the other two axes will come over together. Okay, so we can now close that, and I don't know whether the camera can see from there. So you can see now in the machine coordinate area that the ANSI Studio and the machine now has registered the machine home position. So now I will take the router head over to the workpiece and set a work coordinate. Okay, so we will, this is already activated, so that's okay. So now this is normal jog, should I say. It is pretty sedentary. Now if you want rapid jog, if you want rapid jog, you press this key here, which is the CTRL, and then the direction you want to go, and you have rapid jog. So I'm just eyeing up to see exactly where we're going. One for down. Okay. So let's come down a little bit further. So now I'm going to set for a very low. These here, like at the moment I've got this set to 0.1 of a millimeter. So it's only, the axes will only travel 0.1 of a millimeter. I normally use that one to get down to my piece of work. I'm just going to get a piece of paper. Okay, so I'm just using a bit of paper now to find out where the 0 position is on the Z. I think you've seen me do this trick many times. Yep, just got it there. And we will 0 the Z. I'll pull you into the screen so you see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to go into 0 the Z, Y, and the X right there in that spot, because it's only a rough bit of work here. So now I'll set this to constant jog and raise the Z up. That will do. So now we have a machine coordinate set and X, Y, and Z job coordinate or work coordinate set. So now we'll put the program in. So we come over here. Now you see this is grayed out, so if you click on that, now this is live. So we're going to go to File, Open and Load. Recognize all the files, and it's this test one here. Okay, so here's the G code, and we can now start the job, and we're going to simulate a power cut. Okay, I don't think it's important for me to zoom you right in here. I think you've probably all seen a cutter starting to make a cut. But, you know, I think it's more important to see the overall, the screen and everything. So, in a moment, I'll start this going, and we'll start a cut. In actual fact, you see, more interesting for you guys to look at this here, the current line. Okay, so this is the count of where NC Studio is within the G code. That's the important thing, but you can also get a grasp of sort of where you are by looking at the track. Okay, so if you're have an important job on and it's hours and hours long, it's necessary for you to just have a glance and see what code number you're on and roughly where you are in the in the actual job. Okay, that's very important to be able to judge, okay, what line am I going to come in and start on. So all right, I'll bring you in at a better angle so you can see the screen and pay attention to the current line. Okay? Okay, here we go. I'm just going to knock the feed rate back quite slow because I don't like it just to jab straight in. And here we go. Just had a power cut. So there you are. There's a simulated power cut. All I did was just pull the plug out. It's not a nice thing to do really with a computer, but in sort of to sort of show you guys in real life what you can get away with, what you can do and how to recover. Well, here we go. So it wasn't quite halfway through the program. I think there's something like possibly 3,000 lines of code. And if you notice, I was trying to indicate to you where we were in the track then, the simulation, and the number of, or the line number that that NC Studio was currently on. Now it went to about 1,080, something like that. So what I'm going to do now is restart everything up, and I'll talk to you as I'm going. Okay, the spindle is switched off. Okay, you don't want to start everything up and have the spindle going off straight away. It may happen, but I've actually got it all turned off. So we're going to fire the computer back up. Sometimes NC Studio will sort of keep the entire code in its memory. And other times I've noticed that it completely goes. So we're restarting Windows XP Professional up. Okay, that's pretty well there. Restart NC Studio up. And so there we are, it's got current line error E. Okay, and no, the code is actually gone. So we're going to reinsert the code. So we'll re-put the code back in. There it is there. Okay, and this is all live. What I'm going to do now, this is activated, so I'm going to pull the rotor up, because it's still dug into the material here. Okay, it's up. Now the next thing to do is to rehome the machine. If you notice, the work coordinate has been remembered. It's still there. So you haven't got to re-zero. And if you notice, I had the 00 of the work set in the middle of the material. Well, that's been machined away now. Alright, you can actually get back to it again if you even lost that. But this is a real world scenario. So I'm going to say to the machine, so I'm going to get NC Studio now to re-zero the machine home. So that's up here to operation, here, all of them. Okay, so we've got that done. So I'm just going to move it roughly back over to where the 00 is. I don't know, I'll bring you in a little closer. Okay, so let's bring it over here. You don't necessarily have to look at the machine to know where the 00 is. What you can actually do is check okay, so you know that's close-ish. Let me just go down a little further. That's close-ish to the 0, so you can recheck it. I'll just swing the camera around to show you. Well, it is pretty close to the center of that piece of work, and indeed where we need the 00 to be, so it has remembered it. Okay, so now here is the, let me just lift that up a bit. Okay, so what you do now, first of all, let's just check. Okay, the code is there, that's been loaded. Let's get this screen back to something that we can see. That'll do. Now then, here comes the magic. And it's very similar to Mark III, actually. Operation. Advanced start. Line position, or position of line. Now we know that the power went off at something like 1080, which is like just over just over a third of the way through the program. So if we put here that we want it to start at let's try that again, at line 1000. Okay, spindle up. I think I got that code on camera. So it started, let me just get a brush. Okay. And what I should have done actually was turn the feed rate right back, because that was set at 100%. But you can see pretty well. It actually started from where it left off, just back a little bit from where it left off. There's a little tiny furry bit there. I don't know why that's there, but that is how to restart after the power goes out with CNC Studio, and it works. So that is how to restart a job without losing too much, should we say, machine time. If something catastrophic happens, like, you know, the power goes off, which I know it happens quite a lot in the world in places. So you can regain where you left off, but you must keep sort of, or you must have some idea of where you are in the program. Now, I knew that we was roughly a third of the way in, so it's better to reduce the number, okay, rather than go in as close as you can, you know, as in if there's 3,000 lines of code and you think, oh, you know, I'm halfway through, so set it at 1500, line 1500, and you might restart further than you originally were in the program. You've sort of got to make a bit of a judgment if you haven't kept an eye on what line you're in or where you are up to in the program. So that's the way to do it. The only thing that I did wrong was I didn't knock the feed rate back down to like 25 or 30%. It was all set up to 100%. So it went straight into the job at 100% rate. But, you know, even the professionals don't get it absolutely perfect. And that was a classic example. And you saw it on camera. Okay, so, you know, that's one of the, you know, the big main one in NC Studio that people have been asking me. And so I thought, well, it's a fairly important one, you know, for you to be able to restart your machine and the program at a particular line. And that's how to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed the quick little video today. And if you have, please press like and subscribe. And if you really like what I'm doing, please consider becoming a patron to the channel, because with a you know, high-tech channel that I run here, it is extremely expensive, and it is the patrons that's, you know, keeping me afloat and enabling me to do these types of videos for you all for free. Okay then, guys, so thank you for joining me. Till next video, bye for now.